would add is that, so yes, total compensation. I mean, there's other things that he could argue too, like, paid time off. And then some of the things that people have already alluded to is like, because you touched on this early on, is that at the 6 month mark, he's getting a $5 increase, right? So, that's also another thing to consider, right? If he feels confident that he's going to do well, he has that to look forward to. He could look at time off as being another thing. He could also negotiate things that, like, does he need, like, I don't know his situation if he's retiring or not, but if he's one of those cats that's retiring, healthcare, that may be one of those things that he could say, I will forego this in order to get an increase or a bump here. That's all I have.
Awesome. Thanks for that, David. All right. Well, that was a great introduction. For our next speaker, we have Bruce here from the Wounded Warriors Project. He is a 23-year Marine Corps veteran, and he is now a career transition coach at Wounded Warriors. Hey, Bruce. Glad to have your input on the little conversation and happy to have you here.
Not happy to be back. Always love talking to the group, providing little insights.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to kick it off. I'll tell you, I've been retired almost 10 years. I don't know where that 10 years has gone. It's like, boom, it's there. So I'm the guy, started out truck driver, got pulled in maintenance admin because I knew how to use a computer. So that tells you how old I am. But then I moved into communication electronics maintenance. I used tuition assistance, got 4 degrees. Everything was done, was right. Everything was lined up, everything was in place. Got out, put no effort into it, and had military hunters calling me, and I was hanging up on them. It's like, oh, I'm 2 weeks away from being unemployed for the first time in adult life. I better answer one of these calls. I answered it. I went to their military headhunting event. Day one, Saturday, we all get talked about who's who, what careers and opportunities are here, what employers are there. Right, end of the day, you're like, here's your list of interviews. Mind you, I had never interviewed a day in my life. I was 42 years old. I had never written a resume. I'd never gone to an interview. I had never had to think about what was coming next because I had been a Marine since I was 18 and a month. Did 13 interviews that first day. First one, hit it out of the park. Me and the factory manager, 15-minute interview, went 45 minutes. He told me I was getting an on-site interview before I even left. The world's great. Next interview, tell me about yourself. I was like, well, I grew up in a small farming community. Everything we know we're not supposed to say. My mind was like, Bruce, stop talking. Mouth was like, nope, nope, nope. I got to finish telling my story. They're smiling and holding back laughter. And that was the second interview. So first was a grand slam. Second, it might have been a single, maybe a bunt. Third interview, man, you could have had a worse interview. They could have offered me $1 million. I would have taken that job. It was just, you knew it was the wrong fit right off the bat. And then, of course, I had the other 10 throughout the day. But that was the first interview experience I had. So there's some mock interviews. There's some thought, some effort into it. Don't just wing it and hope. That's not the right way to go down your career transition. But that first interview went well. 2 days later, I'm on site, 8-hour interview. This is for a senior production supervisor for electronics manufacturer in Carlsbad, California. So it's like 10 minutes from my house. And if you're from Southern California, you know how incredible that is to not have to commute. It was 6 figures. I was going to have 45 people, direct reports under. I got the job offer. I took it. I started Saturday is my last day on active duty. Sunday, I was a veteran for the first day. Monday, I was at work. I did 2 weeks on days. Then I shifted to that's the second shift, which was mine, which is 2 to midnight. Let me tell you, it was the easiest job I ever had in my life. And I used to assemble trophies in high school. It was the easiest job I ever had. We had unlimited overtime, so usually I had 65, 75 people in the factory with me. About 5 to 6, everybody went home. I was in charge. I had 2 phone numbers. I had the factory managers and I had 911. I hope I knew which one to call first. I'll tell you, I never had to call 911, but I did call the factory manager a few times. It did not align with purpose or passion at all. I did not see my family. My wife worked, so she get up, go to work before I got up. I was at work when she got home, and when I got home, she was sleeping. So that was huge for me because my wife's the one who kept me centered. She's the one who kept me from having those crazy PTSD, mental health stresses, concerns that I never dealt with. I guess 6 days ahead of schedule on my first week. They were like, "Oh my God, like this is a miracle. What's going on? How are you doing this?" And I'm like, it was simple expectation management and making sure that people were doing their work. Um, Luckily for me, I got headhunted off of LinkedIn. So get on LinkedIn and use it. Don't just have an account, use it. But I got headhunted for a role that was even better. Flew up, did the interview, uh, accepted the role. It was a contingent for 2 Navy contracts in San Diego. And week 4, at the end of week 4, I told the other company, "Hey, I'm leaving. I got an offer that you can't compete with, and it's giving me everything that I need. Is I'm back on days. The pay was 150 vice 100. I was going to hire my own staff, open my office, and I had more freedom of schedule and movement. It was, I probably couldn't have written a better job description or opportunity for myself. Well, it was contingent on winning those contracts. So I worked it off in 1 week here, a month there, a conference here, conference call or 2 here. And 9 months later, poof, we didn't win it. I ended up just saying, I don't need to work. I'm done. I'm a retiree. I got a retirement paycheck coming in. I've got a 100% VA disability check coming in. Wife works, kid free, debt free. Like I'm just not going to do nothing. So for 2 months, I didn't leave my house. Literally, it was me and my dog watching TV and taking naps all day long. If I walked across the street to the mailbox and back, that was leaving my house. Wife came home, gave me that good kick in the backside, like any Marine spouse will do. Told me, "You didn't do all this just up and quit and die on us. So, just find something you enjoy doing. Like the money doesn't matter. Just find something that you enjoy doing, that purpose and passion aligns with." And so I became a facilitator for the Department of Labor 3-day employment workshop. So half of the TAP process. I took that job because I had a horrible experience going through TAP.
Mhm.
I did not learn anything. I'll be honest, I got up and left. I never even finished the 5-day, and I went through it twice. Neither time did I finish the 5-day workshop. So when I took it, I said, I'm going to be what I wish someone would have been for me. So how can I teach in a manner that people are going to accept, understand, relate to, and retain? And so my transitioning service members and spouses, they got up and moved a lot during that workshop. They interacted. They had to talk to each other. They had to go through. I'll joke, I am a Marine, so I might have thrown an expo marker or something. But just got to keep them mindful. But those are those things. But once I found that role, everything took off for me. It was like purpose, passion aligned. And I know you're going to hear me say purpose and passion a lot because it matters. I was giving back. I was taking care of service members and their family members, just like I had for 23 years. So all that just kept building on the things that I cared about the most. And so when you go out and you start looking for what does transition mean, and I had to go out to a transition program out in town by a nonprofit to learn what that meant. We won't even talk about my first resume, but like no one wants to see or hear that. To say that I wasted a piece of paper and ink would be an understatement. But they coached me through it. They processed it. I had actual HR, talent acquisition from all around San Diego companies that were out there mentoring us and going through our resumes, having those conversations with us. They are the ones who really shaped and helped me understand who, what, where, when, how. And that's important. And I will tell you, and I'm glad you guys are in this workshop. But one of the biggest things we have that stop us from a successful transition from reaching our goals is our ego. We've been the person who answered the questions. Now we're afraid to ask the question, but we're doing something completely different. and about 40% are going to be career pivoters. We're going to do something different than we did in the military, but we want the same level of pay.
Mm.
Well, understand when we start over, if we don't have the experience, the knowledge, the skills, the abilities, you can't walk in and get that pay. That'd be like someone coming out and saying, well, I want to be a colonel, I want to be an 06, but I don't want to go and work my way up the chain of command. So those are that realistic expectations of where is your fit in industry, where is your fit when you're looking at a company, when you're looking at different roles. All that matters. So how do we go about doing this? Well, you're already doing step one. You're at a cohort, learning, listening, engaging with different subject matter experts, with different individuals from across different organizations, industries, and that's a huge thing. You're networking with each other, and hopefully you're networking with everybody who comes and speaks to you. You're sitting out that LinkedIn request. You're doing that follow-up. And I'll throw my stuff in the chat here before we're done, so that way you can reach out to me. But it's learning and understanding what happens. So I'll just talk real quick who I am, what I do. Hey, look, there's my LinkedIn. Send me a note. So I'm at Wounded Warrior Project. A lot of people don't understand who we are, what we are, or who's eligible. So what I will tell you is if you're currently serving or a post 9/11 veteran, you're eligible to sign up and become a Wounded Warrior Project alumni member. That's it. If you're a veteran and you already have your disability rating, you can basically become a approved alumni member within about 2 minutes. If you're currently serving, there's a couple questions that you'll be asked. It might take 3 to 5 days to get your account approved, but it's easy day. Once you're approved, you can get up to 3 family support members added onto your profile, and they get the access to all of our services as well. So, and of course, I'm about to drop something in there. It says it's way too many characters, so we'll just knock that out. Bear with me.
Just to speak to this while Bruce is getting to it, I didn't realize I got told about the Wounded Warrior Project when I was in TAPS, and I talked to Bruce recently, and you don't realize how many opportunities there are. So just go make the account. It takes a couple minutes, and just look at all the things that they have to offer.
All right, so I just put it in the chat and broke it down into 2 things. The first one is our programs. So you go back through, about half of the people that register with Wounded Warrior Project come to us because they need help with their VA disability claims. So we don't go to Claim Sharks. Stay away from Claim Sharks. When you find your VSO, interview them. If it doesn't work for you, you should not work for them. Like, if it doesn't click. I went through 3 different VSOs before I filed my thing on my own. Don't file on your own. It worked for me, but that's because I was so broken and dropped 1,500 pages of medical records that it was pretty easy. But our national service officers are going to come out there. They're going to review your case, talk to you. They're going to talk about the things you didn't even know were claimed. So they're going to make sure that you get all the disability rating that you deserve. And here's just the blunt honest truth. Not everybody's going to be 100%. So just understand that. Some of us did not get injured to a high level. Some of us got injured to a lot. And it doesn't matter if you serve for 1 year or you serve for 40. Doesn't equate to I served X number of years, so I get 100. It's not how it works. But our teammates, they're going to work with you, help you get the most of it, help you explain it. They'll keep you updated on where it's at, what's going on. They help remove so much of the stress. And I'll tell you, I ask them questions all the time for myself, for other warriors I work with. So that's where about half the people come to us. We've got alumni events, which are cool, fun things to go out and do. Camaraderie, which is a huge thing when you get out. Like, the loss of camaraderie cannot be talked about enough, cannot be explained enough. and you don't realize it until you're out. Especially when you get out and you move to a brand new location and there's not your peer group, your fellow service members, veterans around you, and you have to go create that new peer group. So alumni events are great. I've done axes, I've done go-kart racing, I've gone to sporting events, I've gone to movie premieres, I've gone to galas, everything else. Physical health and wellness, because even though you're getting out and you're like, I'm not good PT anymore, at a certain point, you're like, hey, I better start PTing and eating right because I need that back. So we got great programs for that, financial wellness, so many mental health, wellness, independence program if you need help with doing independent living. Uh, that's more severe injured, but we have these things. Soldier ride. I don't know about you. I don't want to get on a 75-mile bike ride, but some people do. So it's really cool. It's fun. I've seen the videos of it. Outstanding. Now with the fun program I work with, Warriors to Work. It's amazing that we're in transition, and you can sign up and get a free career transition coach that helps you with career exploration, resumes, interview prep, job searching, negotiations, all these little tips and tricks that we wish someone would help us with. You get it for absolutely free. And we have individuals located all across the country. So that's where we should go to. So on the chat at the very bottom, it's got a link to do your registration. Here's the trick. When you register and you send me a LinkedIn connection request, I will monitor to see when you get approved. And once approved, I will put the referral in so you get benefits, so you can get the career coach fast-tracked for you. It's just a great way for you to be able to make sure you're in the system. So take advantage of that. Make sure you register, make sure you enroll. But I will tell you, I've been out a decade. I never knew that nonprofit was a industry or career path. I just thought everybody at nonprofits were volunteers. They just did things because it was something that had a purpose and a passion for them. I dumb lucked. My wife will tell you I dumb luck into a lot of things. But I landed into something I loved. I picked up, moved across country on a whim. I moved to someplace I'd never been, didn't know anyone. Getting into that camaraderie, connections, is how I built my family here. Then I went to an event, I liked it. So I basically said I wanted in. Next thing you know, I was running the largest recurring gathering of veterans in the state of Florida for 2 years. It was one of those people asked, well, how'd you do it? I just showed up and said I wanted to do it. I'm like, I'm the Marine. I showed up, I kicked in the door and took over and said, it's mine. And I had the right mentors who said, yeah, like, we're going to hand it to you and let you do it. And they kept everything going. It was great. Something called COVID showed up and shut us down. And so I hopped over and I helped build Vets to Industry, which is global virtual networking. We were one of the first ones to open up global networking with, called Networking Without Borders, because we had people from all over the globe that would log onto our events. And we didn't know what we were doing. We just made it happen. Like the previous speaker talked about, start your nonprofit, start your LLC, start your own business, get it started and just start working, make it happen. We didn't know what we're doing. I ran it for 2 years during COVID. We would have 500-600 people on our calls. And we were doing calls on Saturdays from like 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock at night. And we would have all these in here. We brought recruiters, hiring managers, transitioning service members, veterans, military spouses, resources, education all together. And we just had breakout rooms, conversations. And so many people were getting employed. So many people were finding out who they were, how to get there. It was an amazing thing. COVID ended. I hopped out of that one. I went and built a third nonprofit. And that was doing great until the economy crashed and shifted. And then I left. I took a year and a half off and I was probably 90% retired. I was just doing what I loved to do. And then this opportunity came along and it was like, you're going to pay me for what I was already doing, that I did for free. I get to work at my favorite nonprofit and I still get purpose and passion alignment. like, sign me up, coach. Like, when can I get in? And so I quickly did it. So those are some things that you have to think about. And again, I talk about, as you're transitioning, the 3 questions you have to answer. Who are you outside the uniform? Because that's a huge thing. When we take off the uniform, especially when we've done it for 15, 20, 30 years, that's all we've known. So now we got to figure out who we are outside that uniform. The huge one that we don't talk about, because Uncle Sam has told us who we are and where we're going to work, is what are you going to do next? What is your career path? What industry do you want to be in? Are you going to keep doing what you've done in the military? Are you going to do something completely different? All that, is a hard answer. And the third one is, where are you going to live? As we talk about in real estate, location, location, location. And I list those in that order. But for a lot of people, figuring out number 3 is the first step. For me, once we picked Jacksonville, Florida, and then that's where I'm at, is in Jacksonville, Florida. We picked it out, we moved here. It's like, we'll figure everything else out from that. But we wanted to be by the ocean. We wanted to be in a military veteran community. We wanted to be someplace where we had all the resources available of a large city. So that kind of got us here. Oh, there's the Duval. I gotta love it. But those are things you got to figure out. Other people, I want to go back home, and you might go to a one-stoplight town where there's not a whole lot of opportunity. So you got to figure out, okay, if I'm going to move here, what's available? So I know this seems like I was kind of all over the place. Welcome to the brain of Bruce. But I just wanted to kind of show you and paint that picture of transition can be easy and quickly become sloppy, and then it clicks. And it could be all done in a 30-day window, or it could take a year. So have the conversations, invest in it. So, but I want to do now is I just want to open up for questions, since we got about 12 minutes left.
My assumption is that this might be what.
First, I think somebody has a hot mic, but who in here has a question for Bruce? Well, everyone's waiting to raise their hand. I know I have a couple, so I'll start off. What do you have to say to somebody? Somebody put in the chat that they're interested in nonprofit work, that would maybe fulfill their purpose and their passion, but they're the sole provider for their family. What kind of advice do you have for that?
So understand, nonprofit does not mean volunteerism. I work at when Warrior Project, which is a top 5 veteran nonprofit. I am a salaried employee. I worked at other nonprofits. Some were volunteers that turned into employment. So understand, depending on the nonprofit, the region, the type of role, there's people out there making hundreds of $1,000s as a nonprofit employee. So understand there is give and take. Most people tell you that you're going to make a little bit less than standard when you work for a nonprofit, but purpose and passion has so much more. Your benefits has more. So you got to weigh all those things in when you consider what offer you're going to take and where you want to be. And a lot of times when we're trying to gather, maybe you start as a volunteer for a nonprofit, working after hours, and it builds into something like, yes, that's where I want to be. That's what I want to do. So nonprofit does not mean unpaid work. It just means finding the right one. It is a real career path for you.
Absolutely. It's always been something I've been interested in until recently. Through our speakers, I never realized that it was a path that was going to lead to employment, actual employment. So it's so exciting to see all the different things that we learned from you guys. Brad, you have a question?
Yeah. Hey, Bruce. Duval. Do you guys actually have offices here in the Jacksonville area?
Yeah, so Jacksonville is our national headquarters. So we have almost 1,000 employees, and about half of them are right here in Jacksonville. We're at 95 and 202. So, stop by one day. We'll get you a tour and harass you a little bit. But we also have offices all across the country, and we have different coaches that are in all the regions. Like for me, I'm a career coach in the Southeast region, but we got the Northeast, we got the Southwest and Northwest. Everybody understands their region has those network connections with the hiring managers, with organizations. So that's how we're really able to kind of take off and help you, no matter where you're located.
That's very cool. And also, are you going to be participating in the 5K next month?
I will be out there. You'll see me in some bright pink shoes, some crazy outfit. This is probably like me and my wife's like 5th, 6th year in a row doing it.
Yeah, I'm planning on signing up just to run it myself too.
All right, so once you get registered as an alumni, and you get approved, you send the email to the registration site, because alumni get free runs. You don't have to pay for it.
All right, thanks for the tip.
No problem. Always about saving some dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we have more people from Florida in here. We've been talking about Florida a lot today, so everyone sign up and get out to that 5K. And also for what you just mentioned, as we've been talking, I pulled up the jobs and I see 30 different job openings. I've already seen 4 different states that they've been in. So
Are you talking about our cool careers page?
yep. So for everyone
So-
who's saying that you've been interested, but you don't think it's an option, it's an option.
Yeah, and if you look, our careers go across pretty much everything.
They do, yeah.
We have a lot of program facing, warrior facing roles, and then we have the support staff that goes back behind.
Yeah.
None of it happens without everybody. It's just like, everybody wants to talk about doing operations. Well, operations are great, but if you don't have the maintenance and logistics people behind it, the operation is not going to happen. So businesses are very much like the military. You just have to understand where you fit in and what you're going to do that's going to move the needle for people.
Yeah, 100%. I was just looking at, because I was thinking you don't have to be somebody who's like a career coach to be in this. I see a marketing job on here and all different kinds of things. So you can still get that purpose and passion doing whatever career field you guys want to do. Tim, did you have a question?
Yeah, so I threw in that comment about being the single provider. So I went through another cohort where they were talking about, people always want 5 things in their dream job. You want to live where you work, you want to work reasonable hours, you want to love what you do, you want to love who you're working with, and you want to make lots of money. That's what, everyone wants to do, but you have to prioritize 3 of the 5 because you're probably not going to find, all 3. For me, it was at first was, having purpose behind what I'm doing, not commuting and working reasonable hours, because I've checked that box of, being away from family enough and all that kind of stuff. But after, some more reflection, talking to my family and stuff, it's been kind of well, there is a bottom line that you have to make, because I'm the sole provider for our family. We've got, 6 kids, like bills, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, life's expensive. So for me, it changed that priority a little bit to making a little bit more money. Since, nonprofit isn't free, like you still get paid in the nonprofit space depending on what you're doing. But like you were saying, it's usually a little bit lower. So I know for myself, that's kind of more of a probably 5 or 7 year plan when some of the kids are out of the house, and I'm not having to make as much money, being able to pivot more towards that. So, are there any opportunities in the Tampa area? I haven't gone to the website yet, so just wasn't sure if you knew off the top of your head.
Yeah, so we do have a Tampa office. It's probably a mid-sized office, so probably about 40, 50 people work there. I was just down there for a Deloitte 2-day transition workshop. So it's always there. There's also remote opportunities, but remember, I absolutely love Wounded Warrior. It's a great place, but it's very competitive to get on here. There are tons of other amazing nonprofits. So look over, okay, I want to be in the military veteran nonprofit space. Great. We can talk about Camaraderie Foundation. We can talk about, we got the Veterans Beer Clubs coming up. We've got Project Management Institute has chapters, so all those PMP project manager types. There's chapters all around that you can get into. There's all different opportunities. You just have to say, okay, I want to work in this space. I want to work with these type of individuals. And again, we can hop on a call. We can have this discussion. And I'll throw it out. I don't know if you guys already talked about it, but there's a great mentorship website called millmentor.com. And you can schedule a free mentorship phone call with the mentor if you're choosing. And it's a 30-minute informational interview type. Some people do a one and done. Others have repeated conversations with them. So great opportunity for you to check on that one. And there's someone who might be talking on your screen right now that is a registered mentor. So quick, easy way to hop on with me or any of the other ones there.
Awesome. Thank you. Fred.
Yes,
sir. I was curious for the help with the VA benefits. Is that for your initial claim, or is that also if they give you a percentage that you're not happy with, do you help get to whatever percent you're looking for?
Yes. So
Gotcha.
obviously, I highly recommend, and I've been recommending Windware's benefits team for about 8 years since I figured out they did this, because it's their full-time job. It's not a volunteer. They're audited. They're tested. They got the track record to prove it. But they'll help you with your initial claim, and if it comes back and you feel that you were underrated, they'll walk you through the process of what to do there. If you come back, say, myself, when I filed, I didn't know what I was doing, so I filed 21 disabilities. Had I knew then what I know now, I would have filed almost 40. So they come back and talk about a second claim, not an appeal, because an appeal starts talking about lawyers, but a second claim. Hey, I didn't make these claims. Okay, let's do it. Hey, you didn't claim X, you didn't claim Y. Why didn't you? Oh, I have them. I just didn't know I can claim them. Great. They're going to have those conversations with you. So if you did it already with someone else, you'll wait for that claim to be closed. Once that claim's closed, you got your rating. Hey, I need to make sure that I got what I should have. We get you back in here. You have a conversation and say, hey, okay, you claim these 10 things, but we can also claim these other 6. Let's get that second claim put in to claim those 6 and make sure you're talking the right way. Or, hey, I didn't know what I was, how to go through the CEP exams. I think I answered some questions wrong. Well, hey, they'll show you how to go back in there and request for a reevaluation on that individual claim. So we hit all those wickets. So worst comes to worst, you get a conversation, it doesn't pan out for you, but have the conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That saves me $5,000 on a attorney.
Yes. Don't. Again, there are so many resources, not only here at Wind Warrior, but elsewhere that are free. Don't spend money you don't have to. There's a great resource. And I'll tell you, when someone comes, especially talk to VA disability, when someone comes out and says, I can guarantee you this, they're a claim shark. They're just taking your money. It's probably going to cost you way more than you think. And try us for free. You should never pay for your initial disability claims. If it has to go to appeal, it has to go to something else. That's a different thing. But initial claims should never go through and have to do that.
Absolutely. A great question, Fred. I was wondering some of the same stuff. I wish I would have known about a little more about Wood Warriors a couple months ago, or I would have been in a different place with my claim. So if you haven't claimed yet, or you're in the middle of your claim, do it now while you can still get that help.
And I'll tell you, if you have your claim in, you have to wait for it to finish just so we can see what comes of it. But you can still get enrolled with us. You can still make sure that you're set up and ready. Because again, our teammates, they are amazing at what they do. Usually they work 3 or 5 years somewhere else before they can even get interviewed to come on board, because they have to know what they're doing. So it's a great thing. But again, not the only ones in town. So many great resources out there. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Olivia.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
We can.
Thank you for coming and talk to us, Bruce. I really appreciate it. This has been great. My question for you is, while I'm in the midst of my transition, trying to file my disability claim, with the government shutdown, like that portion of the VA is closed. How is that affecting your guys' process to start? Like, should we wait until they open back up and those people are back in office? Or are you guys like fully funded and can start that ahead of time?
So do not wait. The longer you wait, the lower you are on the list of claims that are going to be processed. So there are still some working in the VA. Obviously, you know, there's plenty that are furloughed. So we're still working with alumni members every single day, working to get those claims set up, processed, prepared, submitted. And once you get your claim submitted, you're now in the VA's queue to be worked. So if you wait 30 days, well, that's 30 days of other people who didn't wait ahead of you in the process line. So do not wait. Do not put yourself lower on the lists. The longer you wait, the longer it's going to take for you to get your claim. So start working with it right away, and let's get those claims in so you know, you don't have to wait months and months after you're out to get your claim back.
Okay, thank you.
Tim?
Yeah, it's more so for Olivia, just echoing kind of the same stuff that Bruce said, like get your claims in, get your medical records and review those so you're claiming all the right stuff that has medical record documentation. And when you review those records, things that you know that you have that aren't in them, try to schedule those appointments so that they're in your records. Talk to people that you know, like if you've been married or whatever, ask your wife or your husband or whatever of like, hey, like, what am I missing here? And they might be like, oh, you complain about your elbow or you can't hear or this or that, things that you might have missed. Get that list. Like these organizations will help, but if you go in with your game plan already, it helps them out. It makes the claim go through the first time. So if it's already in your medical records, it makes it a lot harder for the VA to dispute. So if you find issues that you have that aren't in your medical records and you still have time, get seen for it. That way it's in your records.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the great point. Those that are still in service and haven't, you know, gone on terminal yet, go to medical. I know it's crazy because, you know, we're told not to go to medical unless you're like, we're dying. But if it's not in your medical record, the VA is going to like, well, how's it service connected? So go in there and admit that, you know, you have issues. I would tell you, I'm one of those ones. I self-reported to base hospital for mental health issues, and it was a weird process, and it took multiple attempts to find the right counselor for me to finally start feeling I was being helped and not getting just frustrated and pissed off about the process of having to go talk to somebody. So get to medical, get it checked. The longer you wait, the more you're hurting yourself. So just don't wait. Just go have those conversations, and you might think it's silly. Go talk to medical about it. You'll find out it's not as silly as you think.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of us avoid medical our entire careers, scared that we're going to say something that's wrong, that'll take us down or whatever, but now's the time. We're all still in the military, at least we all should be for at least another little while, so get in when you can. Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe?
I felt like I got to tap like my screen like 6 times to get the option to unmute my mic, so I apologize for that. No, Olivia, I just wanted to let you know. Yeah, the VA is still processing claims, and so I don't know if you're BDD or what. It may be that some of them are affected, but I know that for BDD, for those that are getting out, it's super fast. I was actually surprised how fast it happened. So I went to the DAV, turned in all my stuff. They submitted everything on my behalf, almost 40 items. I didn't have to do anything. And then the organizations that they use to do your medical examinations, they even contact you to schedule your CMP exam. So Like literally, you just have to be available. It's literally super easy. So I'd encourage you to just go grab your medical records. I think I've said this before, like maybe a few weeks ago. I don't know if we got some newer people in here, but make sure you have to get different types of ones. You have to get your medical records, your dental records, your mental health records. And then like if there's any specialty stuff that you got off that's maybe, not um hasn't made its way over into your military health records, but you saw like a specialist off base, get those records as well. And you can bring them to these organizations. I'm like what Bruce is saying, DAV, there's lots of companies out there that are free that will do the work for you because they know the lingo in terms of what the VA is looking for, to be said, right? And so I would encourage you, do not file the claim by yourself. Find someone that knows what they're doing and have them do it because and you'll be surprised. It literally caught me off guard. It happened so fast. So I would just encourage you to get started like as soon as possible.
Make sure you have your blackout dates ready too, because like once they start calling for those appointments, like you can't like reschedule but one appointment. So and it happens fast. Like I thought I'd get a phone call of like, hey, are you available this day? Let's make no, like when you put your information in, they just schedule. So like I almost had like some big conflicts that luckily worked their way out. So uh take the time and forecast those blackout dates. Like it seems like a hassle when it all happens, but like it moves really fast.
And, and I'll add two things. Your VA claim, eh, if you don't understand the process, you understand how it works, it's going to be more frustrating than it has to be. It is vital for all veterans for the rest of our lives. We will be veterans way longer than we were service members. The VA disability, the VA benefits, all of this are things that we need to read, understand, take advantage of. So when we talk about the CMP exams, there's two things that you also need to do your research on. First are the DBQs, disability beneficiary questionnaires. It is the test. This is what the CMP examiner is going to go down and read and check off the boxes. You need to understand what the questions are before you walk in so you're not off guard. You know how to answer them. Second, it's the CFR 38. This is the answers to those tests. It says, hey, I have mental health concerns. Okay, well, this is how it's going to be graded. Hey, I have musculoskeletal. Musculoskeletal is range of motion. It'll tell you which ranges equals this. It'll explain when you go through, you stop when you have pain. And that's crazy. Pain is not normal. That's something that I laugh at. People's like, what's your pain scale? I was like, oh, it's only a 6. And they're like, look at me funny. I'm like, what do you mean it's only a 6? I'm like, is that not normal? And they're like, 0 is normal. And I'm like, well, I'm a veteran. Like I haven't had 0 since I was like 18. So understanding the questions you're going to be asked and the how to answer those questions is great. And Lauren, thank you for dropping the schedule for the CFR in there. Make sure you guys click that link, save it. And for every disability you go through, you need to understand how that is going to be graded because they're all graded differently. And if you don't know, you could be hurting yourselves as you answer questions.
Yeah, I love the conversation that this started today. Thank you so much, Bruce, for coming in. And I feel like everyone just kind of helped each other out. And it's really, this conversation is really what this community is all about. All of us just getting together and chatting about things that are going to help each other out.
And for everybody who's afraid of networking, this is what networking is. It's people just having conversations. Hey, I know about this. I know about that. And not the barracks lawyer or the, my buddy. No, it's backing it back up with here's the actual legitimate VA site. Here's the .gov site. This is where we really go. That's what you need to do. And I'll tell you, having conversations with people that have gone through the process will help remove that fog of war, will help you understand what to expect. And it alleviates some of the stress. It's a stressful process. We can't eliminate all of it, but it really helps you when you understand how it's going to work, when it's going to work. And like I said, when you get scheduled for CEP exams, they might be like 3 in a day. That might be 4 in a day. They come hot and fast, and you need to make sure you make them. Otherwise, that's a whole nother can of worms you got to deal with. But no, I always appreciate the invite to come in to get to speak. Again, please send me a LinkedIn connection request, schedule a call for me on my mentor, get registered for the Warrior Project. If there's something I can do to help you, if there's someone I can connect you with, that's what I'm here for. My network is to help other people. So I appreciate it. It's a great time. And hopefully I talk to a few of you soon.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks for coming on and chatting today, Bruce. Have a wonderful rest of your day.